everybody, welcome. I'm Joey and I'm here to show you 3 fun fold cards with a new suite from Stampin' Up. It's called Wildflower Designs. Before we get to that, I have to get all of my technology going here. I have my iPad is on my stand that holds my phone, and I have to get that video pulled up so I can see what you'd see. That's the main reason for that one. And then my laptop is also here, and that one I have to get that pulled up because that's where I see your comments. So let me get that going. Ideally, I would see your comments pop up on my iPad, and so I wouldn't have to use my laptop, but what happens is I don't always see them, and they disappear quickly even when they come up. So when you come on, make sure you say hi. I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'd love to know where you're from. We're having a sunny day today. It's kind of cool out. It's a beautiful spring day. I love spring. My flower pots are all out blooming on my front porch. I still have some to plant on my back deck, but it's spring and I'm happy about that. So I hope you're having a good day too. Let's go ahead and get started stamping. If you're watching me on Facebook for the first time, I would invite you to like and follow my Facebook page if you would. I'm working on 2,000 followers. I haven't been online for very long, just a couple of years, and so it's taken a while to get things going. But if you like what you're seeing, I would love for you to follow my page. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, and hopefully you'll won't miss future videos. I know some of my friends have said they click the notification bell and they still don't always get notified. I'm moving all my little controls on my camera, so you'll be right side up when I push it down like there. So anyway, you can find me on YouTube at Joey Hartman, Stampin' Up. If you can put in Create with Joey, but it doesn't always come up. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me show you what we're going to work with today. Today we're working with Wildflower Designs stamps and dies. So these are the dies. These are so fun to use. It's been a while since we've had actually a set of large dies for labels and backgrounds on stamps. So I'm excited to show you how these work today. And then this embossing folder, it's called Dashing Designs 3D Embossing Folder. In fact, this whole suite of products is on page 41 of the annual catalog, so it's right here. It's called, the whole suite is called Wildly Flowering. We're going to use this paper today. The embossing folder, I already showed you the stamps and the dies. And we're not using these gems today, but I'll show you some we are using. But if you have an annual catalog, again, it's on page 41. If you don't have an annual catalog and you don't have a demonstrator, then let me know. I'd be happy to get a catalog for you. Hi, Cheryl. Okay, people are starting to pop on. It always takes Facebook a while for people to actually see that I'm live. So the beginning part, I realize not everybody sees. If you're on YouTube, then obviously you can start at the beginning or fast forward, or you have more control over it. Okay, let's go ahead and let me show you first how these dies, I did go ahead, usually I don't do this, but I thought with these particular dies it might be good to go ahead and show you how they all work. So this big die cuts this one out, and then when it cuts that out, this is a double stitched edge, then it also cuts this one out. The same way, well, okay, this one also cuts out this and then this. So these two cut out at the same time, these two cut out at the same time, and then this one is the separate one. This is stitched. I don't think you can see that, but it is stitched around the edges. And And then these flowers are part of this set and several greetings, but each of these flowers also has a die. So those are those 4 dies that you see. And what else do I want to tell you? Oh, then there is an extra little texture stamp right here. We're not going to use that today, but I always like to get stamps that have those little background textures because they can just add so much to your cards. We're going to do one basic plan today, one basic fun fold. I like fun folds, but I like them to be easy. So all 3 cards today are going to use this fun fold. This is cut, this is basic white thick, and it's cut 4 1/4 by 11. Well, it's 4 1/4 and then by 11. And then where it's scored is at 2. No, that's not right. Where it's scored is at 3 1/2 and 9. That's how I have it on my directions anyway, at 3 1/2 and 9. And all 3 are this way. And it makes a fun fold that's easy and doesn't take so much time. But it's also kind of a nice surprise for whoever you're giving it to, because it's not something they're going to get at Hallmark. It's something that's just going to come from you. Okay, to stamp, let me get my sample out here so I can actually see what I'm making and get all my bits out, all the stuff. I put everything in an envelope so I can kind of keep everything all together when I'm doing more than one card. Let's go ahead and I have done quite a bit of this today just to actually make the video go faster, but I'll do some die cutting so that you can see die cutting. If you're new to stamping and you're not sure what that's all about, I can show you that, because we have a sale right now on our die cutting machines. We have the mini die cutting machine and we have a full big one, and they're both at 10% off. And all of our bundles, so that means the stamp set plus the dies, everything that's a current bundle is an additional 10% off. They're already 10% off when they're in a bundle, as opposed to buying the stamps and or the dies individually. But now they're another 10% off through the end of June. So get out your wish list and start knocking off some of those bundles that you really want. The other thing is, it's wise to shop early, because so this is that textured embossing folder that I just used. We are going to do a little stamping on the inside. Let's do that first. It's a good time to buy the bundles and dies that are, or the bundles that are on your list. Just because you get them, obviously, for an Esther, it's a total of 20% off. But the other thing I started to say when I got sidetracked is, we're going to put sending happy thoughts in here, is sorry, gosh, I got distracted. I can't look at the comments. I get distracted. I do look at the comments, and I will look at them, and I always come back and answer any comments or questions if they're there. But what I was trying to start to say is, there are sometimes still supply issues with, as it is all over the world. So if you, oh no, I don't want that on there. Joey, get your brain going here. If there are bundles that you particularly want, it will be smart to get them early, just so they don't run into an issue where they're not available and that the sale's over by the time they're back in. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, now that was Early Espresso ink, and we're putting sending happy thoughts on the inside. We're going to put a little flower on the also, and then we'll have our stamping done on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this little flower going there, and then we have the inside of our card. So I usually try to stamp at least a little something on the inside other than the greeting, like a leaf or a flower, or just depends what set I'm using, but to decorate the inside. So there's the inside. Hi, Vicki. Welcome. Oh, it's fine. You know, totally okay to be late. That's the nice thing about Facebook. It stays on my page. And also, I do upload my videos to YouTube after the live. So I always do that on Wednesdays. I'm almost always on Wednesdays. Sometimes I have to switch it depending on what's going on in my life, but normally I'm on Wednesdays at 12:30 Central Time. Now, this is what I cut out with, as I said, I already did most of the die cutting. Let me find it for you though. So this is this one that cuts out this, and then I also, well, that I cut out the DSP and Misty Moonlight with this die. And so for the Misty Moonlight, we're going to use the outside, and then for the Designer Series paper, we're going to make that the inside. So we're going to start with putting our frame like this so we can kind of see where we want to. Oops, it looks like I cut off a little bit of this frame. Hold on, I think I have another one here. Yeah, oh, that one's cut off too. I must have cut these off together. I don't want to use that. Hang on, I've got one over here. Okay, I was cutting multiples of these this morning, so I cut that one a little short, or I cut my paper a little short, or the die moved in the machine. Sometimes it does that. Hi, Kelly. All right, so I'm going to put this on the back side of the die, just kind of line this up. Now, when you're using your Tombow liquid glue, remember, you don't want to have too much. You can always go back and put more, but it makes a mess if you squeeze out too much. So just really lightly with the glue, and then we're going to go ahead and put this just on the top part. So if you notice when I was putting on the glue, I just did where it's going to only stick to the top, so that this is going to be free, like so. That's how we're going to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same to the Designer Series paper. Now this Designer Series paper has a pattern, so you'll want to just be careful with that. And I'm going to do the same thing. This is where I know I can't go below here, so I'm going to keep my adhesive just above here, like so. And then we'll go ahead and turn. That's pretty too. That's, you know what, it's the good and it's bad that a lot of our Designer Series papers have beautiful designs on both the front or the back. So let's do it like this. I was late today. I apologize for those who usually watch live. I have been getting my retired products all together for a buy one get one free sale, and that's what I did almost all day yesterday, which is usually when I prep. I usually get my Facebook Live prepped on either Monday or Tuesday, rarely ever on the day I'm doing it, which is today, but I didn't get it done yesterday because I was working on all that stuff. So I apologize if you were trying to watch me live and I wasn't here when you were here. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp the greeting on this, and I'm going to use Night of Navy for this because I'm going to use a Night of Navy ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the You're on My Mind. Oops, lost my light there. You've been on my mind is this greeting. God, it looks like I don't have a light. Well, no wonder I don't. Sorry about that, gosh. I have two touch lights, and sometimes I touch them completely by accident. And I don't realize they're off, because I'm also sitting in front of a window, so I do have good natural light coming in, but it helps for you to see better if I have more light on my stamping service. All right. I had die cut already a basic white flagged stitch label from the Stylish Shapes dies, and that's that one. Again, if you haven't seen die cutting and you just started watching this, you caught this video that just turned up on your feed, I will be showing die cutting a little bit. Hi, Diane. Oh, I know, you're very, very faithful. You've been faithful since I first started going live. For those of you that don't know me, I was all in person before the pandemic. I did nothing online. And I started to, I thought, well, we had just built a new house. This is, let me talk about this first. This is the Night of Navy glittered ribbon. This has gone online. So we still have this. It doesn't show up in the catalog, but I really love it. And I thought, with the gold, I thought it looked really nice with this paper. So, because the wild wheat is in this paper, and wild wheat and gold kind of, I think they go together. So we're just going to make, I kind of have to look at it from the top, but we're just going to make a little, what do you call it? A figure 8, maybe? Not exactly that. And I'm sticking it to the back of my label. I was busy talking, so I don't know if you saw me put a couple strips of adhesive back here, and then I'm going to just cut it. I have to look at it from the front. I just feel like I see it better. And then we're going to go ahead and I think we want this a little less loopy, so I'm going to make this smaller. I don't want it to be the star of the show. I want so I'm just making these loops a little bit smaller. And we're going to cut this off so that, there. I think that's a little bit better proportionate wise. Do you see what I'm doing there? All right, so that's just kind of another fun way to use your ribbon, and it doesn't involve tying a bow. I know there's some of you out there that really do not love tying bows. That was me for a long, long time, but I really loved the way ribbon looked on cards, so I just kept at it, and if you just practice it, you're going to get better at it. So I encourage you, if you want bows on your cards but you don't feel confident, just keep trying because you'll be able to do it. Okay, so now we're going to just go ahead and put our greeting on with dimensionals to give it a little bit of height. And then I'm going to do something that we used to do years ago, and we've kind of gotten away from it because all right, let me start this over. We use alcohol markers now. These are alcohol markers. These are Stampin' Right markers, and these are water-based, and the alcohol markers are obviously based on with alcohol. So if you color on your paper with, and I'm just coloring with wild wheat the stems of this flower. And I'm kind of holding it in the light so I can kind of see where the stems get shiny, so I know if I actually got all the stems or not. We used to color on our stamps like this to get multicolored images. This is before we had photopolymer stamps, and we couldn't see through the red rubber. In fact, the stamps were on wooden blocks instead of being cling stamps that cling to glass blocks, so we couldn't see through, and so we couldn't do two-step stamping hardly at all. So if we wanted two colors on one particular image, this is what we had to do, and all we had were Stampin' Right markers. We didn't have alcohol markers. I feel like I'm talking to you about the dark ages of stamping, but it wasn't the dark ages, it was still the fun ages, but we've come a long way, I guess is what I'm saying. We have so many more options now, but this is an option. These markers come in families. You have to buy the whole color family, and this is 2023, 25 in colors. What? No, yes, 25, right? Yes. Gosh, couldn't think for a minute. What year am I in? I don't even know how it can be June 1st when it was just January 1st, like 2 weeks ago. Who's with me on that? Okay, now what we're going to do is See if this scrap paper is big enough. No, not quite. Let's go with a little fatter one. Here we go. So I'm going to huff on this, which just means I'm going to hold it up to my mouth and breathe on it. And then stamp it. And then voila, we have 2 colors on our stamp without having 2-step stamps, which we now have with some of our photopolymer stamps. So I like the wild wheat and the blue together, and if they mix up, like some of these kind of mixed up a little, it goes to green, which I also think that's pretty too. So let's go ahead and do some die cutting. Speaking of die cutting, we're gonna grab our dies and grab this die for this flower, and let's go ahead and show you how this works if you don't know, or just get the task done if you do know. I'm gonna just go ahead and put our die cutting machine in here. I know it's pretty close to the camera. I don't move my phone. Some people who are more sophisticated at their Facebook Lives than I am, they can move they know how to do close-ups. I'm just here to show you how to make some fun stuff, and I'm not the most technical, polished video person you're ever gonna watch. I'm lining up this little hole. Can you see this little hole in the bottom of this die? I want that to be in the stem. So if you've ever had trouble lining these dies up that have a stem like this, a narrow stem, you want to watch for the stem to show up in that little hole. Does that make sense? Now, it's so tiny, I'm not sure. There, you can see it, I guess, on the video. I wasn't sure you could really see it because it's very small. But there we go. My computer screen is spinning, so if you're talking to me and making a comment or asking a question, I'm not seeing it. But I will. I always come back. I never just make my video and then just post it and then I'm done with it. I always come back and check it. Okay, let's get our card back out here. And let's go ahead and put this little guy on here, like maybe out here. Now, if I had been thinking a little more, can you see I kind of got this a little bit to the left, so it would have been helpful. Well, let's maybe put the flower over on this side. Let's do that. That's a better idea. On my sample card, I have it on the other side, but let's just go ahead and stick it here. I'm going to take my dimensional and actually put it off of the label because I don't want a dimensional on a dimensional. Let's see. Yeah, kind of like that. There we go. That looks pretty. Okay. And if you watch me very much, you know we have to put some bling on this. So for these cards, a couple of them today, I'm going to use these gems. What are they? Adhesive backed pearl trio. And I didn't look up the colors of these. They're not on the packaging, which I wish they were. But these look kind of moody mauve to me. They're at least pink. These look a little bit of misty moonlight to me. They're at least blue. And this probably is like Calypso Coral, maybe. I don't know. I didn't look them up. But usually I just look at my gems and just say what would look pretty with these. And I thought these blue ones, they're kind of iridescent. They kind of look like pearls. And they're iridescent all at the same time. So there's our first fun fold. They're all going to be the same fun fold. And here's my sample. So you can see on this one, I put it to the left. And then this is I thought it turned out pretty. And it uses the embossing folder that goes with this suite too. So you can see multiple things that are part of the suite. All right, so what was I going to say? I had something, I lost my train of thought. I'm grabbing for my next card, and we might actually make the next 2 cards at the same time. Oh, I know, I was going to say my screen is totally blank on my computer. Oh, here we go. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Hi, Cindy. Thank you, Vicki. I'm really happy you love the card. I love it too. And I forget about this blue and gold ribbon. And I saw this paper, and actually I saw a friend of mine use this on her Facebook Live on this paper, and I thought, oh, that's a great idea. All right, we're gonna do something that is kind of a risk for me because I haven't actually done this. I tried it one time this morning and thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. But this is another thing that my friend did that I watched this week. We'll get this back out in a moment. She had die cut a lot of this flower. It's this flower. She had just die cut multiple ones like this. And then what she was doing on her video, again, we'll see if this works or not for me. I need to, because the next cards use the same stamp. So what she did was this. She inked her stamp like this. And the reason she did it this way is because then you can die cut too. Whenever you're die cutting things that frame, they're round or they go around the flower, something like that, you can die cut 2 at a time. But if you stamp it and die cut, obviously you can only do 1. And then she put it down on her stamp. Then she grabbed a glass block. I had one out, but I don't see it. And then she just stamped it like this. And then she did this. Look at that. It actually turned out good. So I'm going to do our next 2 cards use the same stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and get both of them out and stamp them at the same time. But I hadn't seen that before, and I've been stamping a long time, and I have watched countless videos. If you've been stamping for a long time, you've probably watched countless videos too, and I have never seen this. So I'm first lining it up with that stem down there, because if that gets lined up, then I'm pretty sure the rest is lined up, and I'm actually just pressing down with my clear block, and then I'm just going to dump this off, and there we go. This one turned out a little bit better than that one, but I'll take it because it saves so much time. I thought, oh my gosh, we're in a couple of swap groups together, and you can sign up for swap groups with other demonstrators, and usually they'll pick as many groups as you want to, but for every group you're making either 16 or 21 cards, depending on your swap group, what the requirement is. So she always makes at least 3 sets of cards, and the most I usually make is 2 to send in to the swap hostess. And I'm like, oh, that's how she does so much more stamping and then die cutting, is that she die cuts 2 basic white, you know, what I want to say, die cuts at the same time. Now we're going to color these, and I'm going to use, let's see, we're going to use blends for these, but I could use Stampin' Write markers for these because the images are small. And the reason I say when you're using Stampin' Write markers, which are these, they're water-based, and this ink is water-based, so it can smear a little bit. But you can also usually do it with just small, well, let's do it with the blue. One of these flowers is blue, so let's go ahead and do it with the blue. And we'll see if we can get it so it doesn't. Now what I'm just doing is I'm just coloring lightly because I kind of want it to look watercolory anyway. And actually for this one, I'm going to use the skinny end and just kind of go over the places where the artist has made those little lines to just make the shadows, because that's what the artist put those in there for. And if you just follow those, then it's pretty true to the way that the artist created it. And then I don't have my green one pulled out, so we'll go ahead and my green Mossy Meadow Stampin' Write marker, so we'll just use my blends marker. But again, I'm going to do it just kind of airy. I'm going to just make some strokes so I have a little bit of white showing still. I just kind of like that look, and to me that's kind of the way the artwork is on this. Then let's go ahead and do this one while we've got this out. One is going to be blue, obviously you can see Misty Moonlight, and the other is going to be Moody Mauve. Just coloring lightly. There's some kind of wispy leaves here. Okay, I'm happy with that. Then we don't have an early espresso Stampin' blend, so again I got out my Stampin' Right marker, because there's a little place here on the flower that if you look at the paper, the designer series paper, this is colored in early espresso. This isn't, I think this isn't coloring very good. Hang on a second, let me grab a piece of scrap paper. No, okay. Let me go to my other end. There we go, that's better. This is coloring. This is the old version of our Stampin' Right markers. There's a new version that has a much better skinny end than this one does, the one I was using to begin with. So there we go with those, and then let's go ahead and use Moody Mauve for our pink flower. But when you're coloring with alcohol-based markers on water-based ink, which is the early espresso, it's not going to make it runny at all. Runny is not the right word. Smeary, something like that, because it's not water on water. But again, for a long time we did color with these and we made it work. But now with our alcohol markers, usually coloring choices are blends markers. Okay, we've got those done, and I think that's all we need for those cards. Now let's go ahead, we're going to make these two at the same time. So for this I have Night of Navy, so we'll need an inside for that. Put my paper, my pattern paper over here, and we've got that. And then that's something I want to talk to you about when we get to that far. And then let's go ahead and get out our early espresso card and the inside for that one and the front for that one. Just getting everything out. And then the that's the greeting, and then that's going to be the front of the card as well. All right, let's kind of set this aside though, and we've got kind of a hot mess here. Probably shouldn't be doing both of these at the same time, but we are going to. So on the inside of the blue one, I guess I didn't put any greeting on that because that's going to be a thank you card, so that's okay. I cut these pieces, these 4x5 1/4 pieces that I use for mats on the inside of my cards. I cut quite a few at a time. Now I do have a larger trimmer than the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. I use the Stampin' Up! Trimmer all the time when I'm designing. It's the best trimmer I've ever had, and I've had quite a few of them. But on my big cutter, when I'm cutting for a lot of classes and things like that, let's get this out here. I cut a lot of 4x5 1/4 pieces at the same time, and then I just store them in my drawer because they're always ready to go because I just use them so much. So let's go ahead and let's set this aside. It is kind of crowded right here, and then we'll get back to that in a minute. Let's do the blue one first. Set the espresso on the side, and these pieces of DSP are both 3 1/4 by 4. If you've watched me very much, you know that's one of my absolute favorite sizes of paper. And the white mats are just a little bit bigger. They're about 1/8 of an inch bigger. So 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And while we're doing it, let's go ahead and do that much on them. No, let's just do this one, then we'll do the other one. I'm looking at these flowers. They look like they go up that way, so that's the way I'm going to go on this. I do want this to go this way, though. Okay, so let me do this. And again, I'm looking at where the card edge is so that I don't get adhesive too low and stick my card together. You ever done that? I've done that. And then we'll go ahead and stick this on here. And for this one, we're going to stamp the greeting. This is, as I said, this will be a thank you card. I send a lot of thank you cards. This will be, every order gets a thank you card and usually a thank you package. If it's at least $40, it gets a little gift from me. If it's $50, it's always an embellishment. Lately, I've been sending as my gift my cards. I'm usually sending about 3 cards with every order. Let me go this way. There's a little speck there. I don't know what that, oh, well, now I just, must have been ink. So let me, I do have another one of these cut. So hang on. So it looks like it's a little speck of probably early espresso ink. So let's try that again. We'll go ahead and lightly tap our stamp. And then I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom of this little label right here, like so. I like the font on this stamp set too. It looks like cursive, and I just think it's pretty. So that's where, oh, we should have stamped that in blue. No, I guess I did. That should have been navy. Well, doggone it. Well, I think it's going to still go okay. Well, we're going to go with that. But I think on my original, I did it in navy, but it's still going to be fine. Isn't the paper pretty? I can see in the video the paper really looks pretty. Then, now this little piece originally was a 1/2 inch piece by maybe 3 inches at the most. And it's this outline, the scalloped one, and I just cut it, you know, I just cut the side of it like so. Does that make sense? Because, as I said, this is only 1/2 inch. And then what I'm going to do is make a little scalloped edge on my card. But what I'm looking for is my adhesive. Here we go. Things disappear. During Facebook Live, things just disappear. I don't know how, but they just do. There we go. All right, so now I'll trim it after I've attached it. So I'm going to go ahead and just hold this out like so. And then I'll come back and trim this with my scissors. I do have a Teflon coated scissors that I use for cutting things that have adhesive. So I'm gonna try and keep this curve a little bit and just kind of follow along here and then cut it off like so. And the same with this side. Let's just, actually, you know, I don't really like the way that looks. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna definitely cut this off. And then I think it looks like I can cut off one whole, yep, I can cut off one whole scallop and that matches up a little better. So I'm gonna follow this curve around so it keeps with the pattern. And then let's go ahead and adhere it. Oops, trying to get it straight. There we go. I don't know if you can hear my puppy Teddy. He's very unhappy. I put him in the bathroom because when I leave him out for Facebook Live, he likes to get under my desk and he licks my toes. I have sandals on and it's just kind of a mess. So it's too distracting. So Teddy had to go into our downstairs bathroom until the video's over, and then he can come out, but he's not happy. Not a happy camper. He usually has his freedom because he's pretty trustworthy, but not today. Okay, now we're gonna take the same blue ribbon again with the gold glitter, and we're gonna just make a little loop like this. Like so. Alright, kind of like just one little loop like so. only I want it a little more straight, so that's kind of curvy. So I'm going to pull this off, and then we're going to try this again. There, I like that better. And then I'll just trim it. This is my mom's sewing scissors. I keep it with my scissors, and I just use it for ribbon. And then I always know which one is just for ribbon because of the orange handle. That helps me. My mom used to sew all the time. If you had a mom that sewed, you know that the scissors were off limits to anybody but Mom, because she needed them for fabric, because paper makes them dull. And so I have her little, that one she obviously just used for thread and ribbon and things like that. But okay, I think we're ready to put this on. So let's go ahead and put this guy on like so. No, we didn't do, okay. You could, you know, if you like this, you could just cut this off and have, that looks pretty too, with a white background. But, and if you also wanted to make a gift card holder, you could just glue this down, and then when they open it, they have a gift card. So that's another reason I like this fold. I've used it for that way for a gift card many times. Okay, let's go ahead and stick on our flower here. I'm gonna just get some dimensionals again. I can't see your comments, so I'm sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see them right now. But I will go back and try and bring them up actually while we're still on live today. If you're watching on YouTube, then this is obviously a recording of a Facebook Live. So that's why it's a little more chatty than maybe just a straight up video of someone just making cards without being on Facebook. Okay, these gems, I thought these are new and these are so pretty. They're called adhesive backed metallic gems. And again, I'm giving away a free new embellishment for orders of $50 or more this week. My weekly offers change. I'm also still putting some of my my handmade cards in my thank you packets. Oh, that's kind of coppery. These are kind of, so there's kind of a pink coppery one. There's gold and there's silver, and then you have two sizes. So small and smaller. These are pretty small. And I like that they're kind of, they're multi-sided so they catch the light. So let's put those on. Okay, so there's our card number 2 with wildly flowering. So let me go ahead and get the bone folder out here and we'll get this down. So here is my card we just made, and here's my sample. Pretty much the same. I don't really think I made any changes on that one. But I just love the Night of Navy with this ribbon and this paper, even though the background of this paper is Misty Moonlight. Okay, so let's get our last card ready. We already have quite a bit done on this card. We are going to do some stamping on the inside for this one. Let's go to, I have to look at my sample though. I mini glued up my cards close to take photos of them, and then sometimes I forget that I have glued them shut. I try to not ruin them, so I have to be kind of careful with that. For this, we're going to do You Have Been on My Mind for the inside. And I think I stamped this in blue before, and we're going to go to Early Espresso. So we're going to change that out, and let's go ahead and grab Early Espresso. By the way, also, if you put in a $40 order this week using this host code, you'll also get a full PDF tutorial with all the details of how I made the card, all the directions, all the measurements. So that also comes as a thank you for your order. I also send a free tutorial weekly to my Facebook, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying, my email providers. Let's see, what do I have out here for ink? Let's go ahead and do, I think I have Moody Mauve out here. I send free tutorials every week to my newsletter subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. I'll go ahead and put, you know, I don't want this to be all pink, so I don't have my Moody Mauve. Oh yes, I do. Hang on. Let's just do this because I've got my early espresso one out here. Let's go ahead and just color with markers again. So I'm going to have a pink tip on this one. Now this is a new marker, so it'll be in the new style. So that's the style of these, the new ones. And my blue one, so you can see they write much better, much better. So this is Moody Mauve. It's part of the 2023-25 ink color collection. I don't know if I mentioned that before. And then let's go ahead and use early espresso again here. This isn't a very big stamp, so this doesn't take very long, but that gives a little something special and pretty on the inside. I'm going to huff on it again and then just stamp it in the corner of my card. Yay! And so you can see that there's two colors on my flower. I feel like it goes with the paper better, so you and I will notice that. I'm not sure anybody that I give this to, unless it's a stamper, and it actually probably will be a stamper. Again, I send a lot of cards every week. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on the inside here. Again, this mat is 4 by 5 1/4, like so, and there's the inside. Let's go ahead and crease this down just a little bit more. And then we're going to have basically the same front on this that we had on our blue card. Again, this is just an easy fun fold that is very easily made into a gift card holder. This is that same pack of paper. Oh my gosh, Teddy's just screaming. Next time, we have a little pen set up for him down here so that I can keep track of him, and next time, if you watch me next week, he'll be in his pen because he's much happier when he's in his pen. Oh my gosh, he's very unhappy. Our dog we had before Teddy was calm in the bathroom. It didn't bother him, but I think this might be the first time I've had Teddy this long in the bathroom, just on hold while I do my Facebook Live. So we probably won't be doing that in the future. Let's go ahead and again, this is 3 by 4. Both of these, I think I talked about that. Then we're gonna put ribbon on the back of this one as well, kind of like we did our blue one, but we're going to use Moody Mauve ribbon. All of our ink colors have this ribbon. And it's going to be just like our blue one, so we're just going to take a little, I'm kind of getting out of the photo, sorry, get out of the video. So I'm going to just do this a little bit like this. Hopefully that's fairly straight. Yeah, that's pretty straight actually. And then we'll go ahead and trim this. I usually trim the bottom one just a teeny bit longer than the top one. Let's see if that's too much. No, I think that's okay. I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead with that. And then we'll go ahead and, again, these don't take very long. So then we'll get this all set up. I kind of like to catch my ribbon with my dimensionals if I can. I feel like it gives a little bit more stability. And the ribbon doesn't move around. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and These are such beautiful colors. To me, they're a little bit fall-ish, but I really love the pink, the Moody Mauve. I really like the Moody Mauve with this is Crumb Cake. Oh, that's somewhat backward. Crooked. Oh, well, we're going to go with it. I love the Moody Mauve and the Crumb Cake and the Early Espresso. I think those are really pretty together. Let's go ahead and get this little guy on here. And we have a little bit of stamping yet. These came together pretty easily, my friends. So if you like cards that are a little bit stepped up but easy, then these are really easy and fun. Then let's go ahead and stamp our greeting on the outside. We're going to use that same greeting that we used on the inside of our last card, but we're going to put this one on the outside. Sending happy thoughts. Just make sure, can't remember what color we used. I think it was Early Espresso, but we're going to use Early Espresso. So I just want to make sure my stamp was clean. This is a piece of basic white that is about 5/8 by maybe 4 inches. And I usually line it up on my grid paper. It kind of helps me. I think it helps me get it straighter. I don't know if it does for sure. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Not too bad. We're going to go with it. It slants down maybe a little bit to the right, but it's going to be okay. It's handmade, right? So it doesn't have to be exactly, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Okay, so let's get that there. And then this is going to just go across the bottom of our card like so. So I think, again, I will put my dimensionals. Whoops, I don't want those mini ones. I want the bigger ones. Let's go ahead and put it on the, no, I don't want those scraps either, because I'm going to put it next to my main panel, not on it, because I don't want to double up. Again, I don't want to double up on my dimensionals. It just makes it bulkier to send. But I want it right under my flowers. So I'm going to move this up just a little bit. If you don't press down too hard, you can often, whoops, you can often move things just a little bit. Let's go ahead and send happy thoughts. Okay, and then let's close this before we have a disaster there. I'm going to go back to these pearls. Adhesive backed pearl trio it's called, if you're looking for it. Again, before we finish this, if you put in an order of $40 or more this week, you'll get this very detailed PDF tutorial. I show the insides, close-ups, the full card, all the directions, all the measurements, all the products that I used. So this was what you'll get. So thank you for your order. And also, if your order is $50, then you'll also get one of these new embellishments. Aren't these pink pearls so pretty? I had fun making these cards. My friend did this suite the other day for the video, and I was kind of going back and forth on what to do my Facebook Live with this week, and I thought, okay, I haven't used that yet, and I have it. Now it's off to the side. I might try and fix that after we're off the air. So there are those. Here are our 6 cards we've made this week. Again, I don't think these two look too much alike, other than obviously the basic background is alike, but this one then shows these dies as well. So there's our 3 cards for this week. Again, that suite is called Wildflower Designs. And if you want the bundle number, if you're shopping this week and you want to get the discount, the bundle number is 16334. 3334 Wildflower Designs bundle. That's kind of a lot to say. All right, my friends, let me bring you up here, and I'm going to check my comments. So if you have commented, yes, I had wet hair. Whenever I come on like this with my hair rolled up in a clip, it's because I didn't get it dried. So I'm going to check the comments quick and see if anybody... Oh, hi, Kathy and Judy and Brenda. Oh, so sweet. Cindy, thanks, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for the hearts. That's so sweet. And the thumbs up. I appreciate everybody that watches. I appreciate you spending your time with me. And let me know if I can help you in any way. Thanks again, everybody. Love you. Bye-bye.